Walking the Hero's Journey. Field reading, week 27. What week 27 really has been all about for me is the hero's journey. And I talk a lot about the hero's journey because it is the transition from one phase to another phase, from living from the program mind to living as a divine being. And this week is special because week 27, it is the 1st of July, the 2nd of July and the 4th of July. And for my family, these dates are very special. My oldest daughter is born 1st of July. The 2nd of July, our oldest son, Aleksander, committed suicide 11 years ago. And the 4th of July, he would have been 33 years. So you see, it is kind of reborn, transmission, being born. So for 1st, 2nd and 4th of July, it is really the essence of hero's journey. And what is the most difficult about the hero's journey is the death process, because take suicide and taking our own lives, that is not what we are supposed to do. But an ego death is a totally different thing. So if my son had learned that we can have aspect of us, there are thoughts in us that wants to die. It is something new that wants to kind of flourish. So he had thoughts, he was programmed with a program mind. And when I went into being, I started my hero's journey 2013. It was 2 years before Aleksander committed suicide. He thought I became so strange. I became so alternative. You are so alternative. I don't want to be that alternative. So he said no to follow my path. And he wanted to do it his way. And his way was to commit suicide. So if you put both of this alternative, if you feel the jantelaw, the shame and all, and you know that one of the alternatives is to let your ego die, your thought to die, to live from direct experience. I talk about gnosis because the hero's journey is from living from your program mind to living with direct knowledge. And it is that you know that everything is a process, everything is alive, that you can feel life, not live life from this mental programming. It is so boring. I did it actually for 40 years because I myself thought that this was what life was all about. No one had taught me that, well, we actually come here to experience life and to emanate our gift. So the hardest part actually is to let the ego die. And when we let the ego die, it is pain. That is the most difficult because it feels, actually, when you sense the ego, that it feels like I'm dying. And Aleksander, the last half year before he committed suicide, he was actually going into this phase. He lost hair, he became skinny, and he was depressed. So we could see that he already was in this phase. But if he had said yes to what I invited him into, I remember particularly one of the conversation we had in 2014. And I said, well, there is a way. And I know a muscle therapist and I know this and what I have done. And he said, well, that's too alternative. If he had said yes to that, then his ego could have died and he could have flourished because he's a highly sensitive, just as Tim Bergling, highly sensitive people. And we that are so deprogrammed with the jantelaw, we feel it, we become the jantelaw. And I encourage everyone to read the book weltschmerz, because the first chapter in the weltschmerz, the weight we carry, actually talks about the habitus. We become our surroundings. We become all the thoughts that we live in because it is programming. So since I give all the first chapter for free, you can find it on my platform weltschmerz and divinedesign.it, Ann-Peggy, divine.com, weltschmerz.se. So I encourage you to read it because weltschmerz and the hero's journey, they go together. So for the coming year, I will talk a lot about the hero's journey and the weltschmerz, because why some young people and some people want to commit suicide, it is because they feel their weltschmerz so intense. They feel it because it is their habitus. Like a French sociologist, he said that we all become the habitus, what we are born into. So this book explains it. The first chapter, you can already start to read about it. So that's why when I was 12 years, I had my first panic attack. It felt like I should die. This panic attack, it came. I was in a place I normally wasn't, and the energy there was so low. It was so much bitterness. It was so much hatred. And I was in this place, and it felt like I was dying because I took in this energy. And it was so painful on my body. So this is also aspect. Weltschmerz is what we are transforming these days. And when I listen to news and I hear people talk about what is going on, there are so much coming up. I see it in a lot of religious stuff, and also tradition, like the Sami people, the Kven people, and also in the medicine. Because now they say that sun is good for us, and before we have heard, oh, you mustn't be out in the sun because then you will get cancer, and sun is no, don't have sun on your body. It's crazy. We have had so much illusion, so much wrong illusion, that is kind of, oh, everything is fear. So this is weltschmerz. We have lived with thought program to profit, so that we can sell and use this skincare because this protect you. And we know that the one that make the skincare and the organization for cancer, they actually work together so they can sell their product, and they support it so they can sell their product. So it is so much corruption, and all of this is weltschmerz. And I won't go too deep into weltschmerz, but I will say that it is 3 layers. And most of all, I am talking about the layer that we can sense all our surroundings. And I encourage you to read the book weltschmerz, then you will understand the 3 layers of weltschmerz. So it is not only the thought that we know that the world could be better, because that's kind of a mental thing. We know that everything could be better. We know that too, but also because we sense it. I'm talking most about the 3rd layer of weltschmerz, that is that we sense our surroundings. And that is why I closed my heart when I was 5 years. And what I have done this week, 27, is making a webinar about life is speaking to us. So I encourage you to see this webinar. It also gives you the clue and bigger understanding of what we are sensing. And also this week I have made a podcast about my own hero's journey. So all this week has been about the hero's journey. And it is a 1 hour and 8 minutes recording of my hero's journey. And I know that maybe it can be hard to understand everything because I'm trying to put all my 50 years of life and putting into the understanding of the hero's journey and how I closed my heart. And when we live with closed heart, we become sick. So it is an explanation because most humans live with closed heart. And we don't think we live with closed heart, and one of the aspects in that, several people have said, you have lived with open heart all your life. No, I haven't. I opened my heart fully 31st of December 2018 and 1st of January 2019. For 2 days I was in heaven and earth. And then my heart opened radically. I was in ecstasy for 2 days. And that was after 6 years in the hero's journey and the dark night of the soul. So I have lived like reborn since 1st of January 2019. So I have been reborn. And so in one way we can say that my new life started 1st of January 2019. So I'm only 7 years. So I have lived 7 years with a radical open heart. And what happened the last 7 years, it is amazing. And I wish this for everyone. That's why I want everyone to understand the weltschmerz and the hero's journey. and to see that all of us are invited into it. And if we want to live heaven on earth, if we want to live our dream life, we actually have to reset. We have to reset this programming. We cannot, in all paradigm I have seen, as I said, I mentioned a lot of paradigm, and they are fighting for their truth. But as long as they haven't transformed, as long as they have read their way to life, you cannot live as a new human being, as I call Homo luminous, if you haven't transformed from your programming, even if it is in religious, if it is in medicine, if it is in whatever it is. All the paradigm, because we have read, we have gone to school and program, living with a radical open heart. This I know from deep wisdom that this is what we are all longing for. Even this cat was longing for that, because she was programmed. Because I have earlier spoken about the monster cat that attacked her, so she was in freeze and fight all the time. A monster cat for a couple of years attacked her, and I had her in Linge for 2 months, and then she's a new cat. And my daughter said that we have 2 cats and we have to give away 1 cat, and we couldn't give her this cat away, because if we gave this cat, she was so programmed, no one would have this cat, because she was in freeze and she attacked everything because she was so programmed. So this is what we are as human also. We are in this program. So my daughter said we have to give away the nice cat, because everyone that gets this cat, they will kill her because she is so unstable. But I said I will take her, I will give her another learning, I will transform her, I will let her go to her hero's journey. So she was with me 2 months in Lingen, and she's a new cat for 2 months. Wow, it is 2 crows that really make a lot of fuss. 3, here comes the third. Wow, yeah. Anyhow, so transformation, we can see it also in animals, in cats, in dogs. And one aspect I also want to mention, last Sunday when I did this field reading for week 26, I did it Sunday morning. I was sitting here, and then I went up. A couple of hours later, our dog died. So, and that has been a big grief for the family. We had 2 dogs. My dog died 4 years ago, and this was the dog of my husband and my daughter and my son. They 3 were very linked into this dog, and my dog, and so it was kind of, we are connected to animals on different layers, and this dog is particularly the one that died last Sunday for 3 of the family. So they have been so in grief, and I have cried, because I led him into the heaven. So I holded him when he died. A veterinary was home. She came home and she gave him a shot because he was very sick. So we called her and she said, I can come immediately, because we had a lot of medicine, and I don't want to go into that story, but he died. And when he died, I held him and I went in. I felt the dizziness and that I went into another state, and I held him and I felt him into heaven where the other dogs was. So I saw us meeting and he was so happy. So I guided him into another realm without body. And then when we were finished, he just lay there. Then you saw the body, the dog's body, and it was dead, no life in it. So the animation and the consciousness of the dog was out, and it was in heaven. And I have felt him since that Sunday. I hear him and he communicates with me, so I communicate with Tico still, even though he don't have the body anymore. So we buried him next to the other dog that we buried 4 years ago. So this is a physical death. So week 27, it has been really about life and death. which the hero's journey is. But what we need to learn, it is to have another relationship towards death, and that the ego death, this is what we want. Because if we let our ego die, then we will be reborn and we will actually learn to bloom. It is so amazing to live. I love my life. I love my family. I love everything. And I want this so much for all people, because it's not easy. But know that pain isn't the worst thing. It is a meaning behind pain. If you know that we are programmed with pain, we are programmed with weltschmerz, and what we really long for is to live without weltschmerz. So we are in a transmission from living Homo sapiens to becoming Homo luminous. And the phase in between is the weltschmerz that we are transforming. Yeah, like this cat is lying on my lap and she's enjoying. Well, yeah. So she's just, she loves to be around me because she feels I hold this space I'm talking about, the new human Homo luminous. So she loves being on my lap. When I'm working on the computer, I work a lot making things. She lies on my lap all day. She wants to be with me because she feels this. So even though she had transformed, she still have layers, and she, yeah. So she feels this new way of being, and this is what I want for everyone. And I have a course called that also is the hero's journey and the spiral of grace. And these two courses, I really encourage people to take these courses because they are deep and they go into the ego death. So, but that costs. But if you want something for free, do the hero's journey book. That's also for free, and the weltschmerz book for free. I give so much for free because I want for everyone to live as me. Because when I meet people and they live with weltschmerz, I feel it in my own body. Being highly sensitive, Tim Bergling commits suicide because all people around him, he felt them. He felt the weltschmerz. So he said, I don't find a regulated, open heart in a society, in a community. That's why he came to me last year, a year ago, in the beginning of 2025. He came first time, and then I said, I don't have time. I said, come back when I'm finished, and then he came back May 2025. And then we made the module, the free module of Divine Reset. So also, this is free. So I have made so much for free because Tim Bergling said to me, you hold what I was seeking. You in yourself hold the field, and you are creating what I was seeking. So I said yes to make them module in 2025, and this year we have together wrote the book weltschmerz. So, and the book weltschmerz, it goes even deeper because it was another layer that I didn't put in the hero's journey, but I will actually put it. So I will upgrade the hero's journey, the course, so that this also take this weltschmerz and all the 3 layers. So, but week 27, we are all invited into the hero's journey. And I will end with, we can go the hard way or the soft way. I have met a colleague working in healthcare system, and she went the hard way. And I said, it is a softer way. Yes, I know, because all she met was hardness. We work in the same institution, but you saw that she met all the hard stuff because she in herself was in resistance, kind of, because life spoke to her, that life wanted her to transform what she carried, but she just fight it, yeah, fight like you have done. So we are invited in to do it in a more soft way, and that's why read the books I have written and the courses. So it is resources there to do it more softly, because I don't want for anyone to do it that hard. It can be hard, but if you have a hand to hold it and we know what's in the other side of the tunnel, then it's so much easier. Yes. And with those words, I wish you the best July, and you are invited to the hero's journey. Are you listening to this? You are invited to the hero's journey, and it is heaven on earth on the other side. Wow. Now I will go to my home, take off my clothes, and I will go swimming. I love swimming. Mwah.